Okay, so let's begin. So, in a previous article that you wrote, you told readers that the way we do APIs is basically broken beyond repair. So, can you share with us some of the challenges that the industry currently faces with regards to APIs and how all of these led you to start Superface.ai?
So the reasons are twofold. One is a business approach to APIs, and another is of course technical. The first one, the relation between the business and IT can be fixed, and it's improving. Salespeople understanding APIs, and on the other hand, the developers thinking about, hey, how this API is actually helping my business. So there are some improvements there. It's still a long way to go. But then the technical side of things, I think they are not going all that well, because we had the concept of REST APIs and hypermedia, and it was not really understood and adapted by developers. And now we are for many years looking into, and we are down this rabbit hole of people trying to solve the versioning problem, solve the documentation, and basically they are holding everything with their bare hands and trying to, keep the boat floating. But I don't think it's going to work with the increasing demand.
That's an interesting perspective from someone who authored a description language for APIs, Blueprint. Has the adoption of API description formats like Blueprint and more recently OpenAPI and Async API, has that enabled better automation and discovery of APIs?
I think it did. It absolutely did. I think that was one of the revolutions, or we don't have to call it revolution, but the change of thinking started, back in the days in API. I think what was like 2012 or something. And there was a format called Swagger before API, where really we pushed people, or we asked people to, okay, don't program first, stop and think, design your APIs upfront before you start coding. And so these formats gave us as developers and architects the chance to think about the APIs, but also to make them more discoverable. So I think it totally helped. The journey was quite bumpy. Nowadays, still a lot of people are not designing first. They are still generating this API descriptions format from their code. And we are seeing, it helps with the discovery, because these developer portals, these API hubs, when the developers submit the API description formats, that definitely helps with the discovery.
So I can imagine that a machine learning algorithm, it can easily learn that an API that describes a data entity as last name might be referred to as surname in another API and automatically map it. So data mapping, enrichment, transformation, they can get a lot more complex than that. So how far do you think can we go with automation?
Well, we don't know what we don't know, but I think eventually we'll be very far, right? If you dream about the interfaces connected to your neocortex, then, and do this some sort of reasoning, then eventually, and maybe singularity, then I think, we as a mankind will get there. Probably not with Superface, probably not in the next decade, but I think we can take it very far. That's for sure, and we are learning in the process, like how we do this, and we do an awful lot of things manually. But we historically know that the automation and autonomy is actually the solution to the complexity. So when a lot of people are doing something manually, then then of course people start thinking about how to automate and how to give it an autonomy. I think we are at this point with the APIs, because of course there is more and more stuff happening digitally, especially this year, and the number of APIs and the way we keep them together by hands is just not going to scale. So there's this urge for us to take it further, to start thinking about the automation, so we can use the engineers to do a better work than just doing the wires.